Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound, the Wycombe Wanderers Show.
Good evening and welcome to the latest edition of the Wycombe Wanderers Show, heading towards, I suppose, what you might call the end of March. We're heading towards the run-in, aren't we? I think. Is this when the run-in starts? Or is it a bit early for the run-in?
For the international break.
Oh, okay.
That's when I would say it's you know, or the final battle, or whatever you want to call it.
It does feel like we're sort of heading towards the end, though, doesn't it? The end of the final furlongs.
In a slightly apocalyptic type way, you know.
I didn't mean that, but yes, I see what you mean.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, you know, all of those films, you know, they normally have a happy ending, so you never know.
Exactly.
I'm still hopeful.
Perhaps there's going to be a second season, like, you know, those American dramas where you think that they wrap up everything in the final, in the end of the first series, but then they leave it a bit more open, so there could be another season.
Championship 2.
Coming up on the show this week, we'll be looking back on a win.
A win.
Do you remember? There was a win on Saturday against Preston. It seems a long time ago now, doesn't it?
Well, and that's the trouble. You know, it was a bit disappointing about last night, because it would have been nice to have come on doing another show where they'd had a double win.
Well,
but even so, yeah, you know, we'll still focus on the win from Saturday over Preston North End.
Yes, we'll be getting Gareth Ainsworth's thoughts on both games. We'll hear from Alicia Povey as well, from Wycombe Wanderers Ladies, who's been working with the media team, don't know why that's funny, and chatting to Jason McCarthy as well. Very special guest on the way as well in our series of former players, a member of the 1957 Amateur Cup final team, Dennis Syrett, will be sharing his memories with us. And is there something else? I think that's it, isn't it?
No, I think that's about it. You know,
it felt like there was something else, but I don't think there is.
Dennis Syrett, famous for for things other than football as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think the first person we've spoken to who can say that.
Absolutely, there's so many great stories connected to him. He was born in Beaconsfield, as you'll hear. His parents ran a butcher's in Knapp Hill. His brother played rugby for England, and
wow.
he's a very high standard artist as well.
I'm very much looking forward to hearing the interview.
Yeah, that's on the way very soon. Plus, we'll give you a bit of a taste of what's to come in the coming weeks as well, because we've got an international break next week, but got something very special lined up, and some very top guests in lined up for the run-in. But the run-in is after the international break, so that'll be fun.
Yes. Or the final battle, as if you want to call it.
Ahead of the second season, if we get recommissioned. No, the show
yes,
will be. We'll definitely be back next season.
Yes. Hopefully.
Whether the team will be or not, we're not sure yet. But a fantastic result against Preston, and as we'll hear, and as you'll, I'm sure, testify, having watched the game, a fantastic sort of return, if you like, to the Wycombe of old.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great performance against a poor Preston team, and I'm not saying that to belittle our achievement at all. I'm really saying it actually in that we played really, really well. So often this season, I think we've seen us play to the level of our opponents, if you know what I mean. So actually, when we've played a good team, we definitely raised our game. But similarly, where we've played the Sheffield Wednesdays and the Birminghams, we don't seem to have performed very well. I felt on Saturday, actually, it was completely the opposite. You know, we played really well. Preston were pretty bad, and completely deserved to be beaten. You really wouldn't have wanted to have been one of the Preston players on the way back to Preston, given the look on Alex Neil's face at the end of the game. You know, the fact that they've now been to Wycombe twice this year and lost both times, and played pretty poorly both times as well. I don't think that he will be particularly impressed. And I did notice as well that they lost last night and he got sent off. So I don't think his mood was particularly improved either.
What we want is more of those teams, don't we? We want more teams to have bad off days and Wycombe to play really well.
Yeah, you know, I know it's a big cliche, but I was thinking during the Preston game, can we play you every week? Because clearly, yes, you know, we seem to have found a way to play against Preston North End, and you know, and arguably we should have won the game at Deepdale as well. In that, you know, we basically gifted them 2 goals. Obviously, we drew 2-2. You know, we've scored 7 goals against Preston this season. So there's clearly something about them that we like.
And as you say, faced them in the FA Cup as well, and that could have been potentially the start of a fantastic run.
Yeah, you know, and I think we will always look back on, you know, particularly if things don't go our way in the run-in, we will always look back on that sort of result against Preston North End, the 4-1, with then the games to come against Birmingham and QPR, Sheffield Wednesday, as there was such belief after that, a real feeling that actually, right, okay, we're going into the second half of the season now. We've got these winnable games. We're going to actually haul ourselves off the bottom of the table, somewhere towards safety, and just it will be a huge springboard for the rest of the season. And then, of course, the COVID outbreak happened. The QPR game got postponed, less than 24 hours before it was due to take place. The Sheffield Wednesday game, to be fair to us, that then had already been postponed because of a COVID outbreak for them. I think, I know you can't look back too much and sort of say, well, I think that was where things started to unravel, but definitely it was a very, very unfortunate series of events for us, given the performance that we put in against Preston in the FA Cup.
And Gareth spoke to the media after the Preston game on Saturday.
I asked for it, and they delivered. I really did. Yesterday in training, we had a poor day in training, but it told me a lot of things, and I was pleased that the team I put out, and the subs, to be fair, they were so noisy on the sideline. It was just a working performance, a real up and at them, pressed them hard. The line was brilliant, and I thought we deserved the win.
Setting the tone is always important in games. You certainly did that, didn't you, from the off? Yeah,
and that was one of the messages. I think we've got to go for it. We're still confident we can survive in this league. There's a lot of teams that have been above and below that line and above and below. We've never been above it yet. That's our target, and if we make that target in the last game of the season, that's success for us. There's a lot of teams will be more worried than we are. We can handle where we are. It's going to be a tight league coming to the end of the season, and we've got 2 big games now before the international break. I want to win them both, and I believe we can.
Set pieces are so important, especially when you're down there, and Ryan Tafazoli getting on the end of that Jacobson corner must have given you a great thrill, especially after he'd had 2 chances before that.
Yeah, people will look at the result and go, Wycombe corner, 1-0, scruffy, that's what they do. I'm hoping there'll be a bit more shown on the TV of the clever play and the superb football we played in that first half. I think young boy Anis Mamete again has shone. Darryl Horgan against his old club, and Gareth McCleary. You've got your names here that really can win games. But at the back we were so solid. The boys have been fantastic for me. Their work rate is nothing short of everything, which is what I require now from now to the end of the season. 10 games to go. See how many we can win.
And that belief is genuine, isn't it? It's not just words.
Absolutely. We've been in worse situations than this, and any team below us would swap positions with us right now.
That's something that really stands out. I don't mean the wind. I mean Gareth's comments. That does stand out.
I think we are getting towards Courtney Woodrow. No, we won't talk about that.
But it really stands out that we've been in worse positions than this, and literally every team below us would want to be in this position.
Yeah, definitely. I think in some ways it was a bit of a silly question to ask. Do you really mean that? Because, I think it would have been quite alarming if Gareth had turned around and said, oh, yeah, it's just all words, we've had it. But at the same time, we all know that actually Gareth does 100% mean it. He does still completely believe that we will be in the Championship next season. And he was even then asked, as you will hear in a little while on the show, last night, is that it now, Gareth? And he was, no, it's definitely not it. And it won't be it until actually mathematically we are relegated. And I think, that's why he's brilliant, because he doesn't give up until actually he knows that it's over.
No, positivity doesn't seem to quite cover it. If there's something better than positivity, I think that's what Gareth is.
Well, and I think it probably goes all the way back to Torquay, because of course, that day, can you imagine going down on the coach to Torquay knowing that you had to win and still were relying on other teams, and it must have been, a tense old coach trip down there, and the fact that actually, it came off, you can understand why Gareth believes in miracles. You think of what happened last season. Again, absolutely unbelievable. You think of what happened the season after Torquay, where we got to the playoff finals. So it's no wonder really that actually Gareth is, he's a realist. He will just wait until actually mathematically, it's proven that yes, we can't stay up. And then I think, straight away we'll get there right, proud of the boys, looking forward to next season. We're going to push on and try and bounce straight back up.
Nobody wants a tense old coach trip.
No, they really don't. No, just
not
ask
the best
Preston players.
Absolutely, that must have been a tense-old coach trip as well. Wycombe Wanderers ladies, Alicia Povey has been on the show before talking about her media work. She was chatting to Jason McCarthy after the Preston game. We've been speaking to her as well to get her thoughts on that performance and also last night's game against Barnsley, which she was also at.
Yeah, so obviously now I've been with the club since sort of January time, so I have seen the ups and downs of Wycombe, and I think every Wycombe fan has. And obviously the first game I actually went to was the FA Cup game against Preston, so the 4-1 victory. So I did kind of go into Saturday thinking we can win this. Obviously the Preston side was quite changed from that FA Cup game. But yeah, really good performance. Obviously Tafazolli, the first kind of 10 minutes, 3 headers pretty much he had, and obviously scored the third one, which was great. But you kind of felt, in that first 20 minutes, you felt, yeah, we can win this. We're really up for it. And obviously, yeah, getting the goal early was great. And I don't know, I'm never comfortable. Like, even if we're leading, I'm always extremely stressed. I think everyone's the same because you care so much and you just want those points. So yeah, second half, obviously Preston came out and really came at us. Obviously, I was talking to Jason afterwards and we were talking about the kind of spirit of the team and how resilient they were against the Preston side when they came out in the second half, because they had opportunities and Wycombe really absorbed the pressure, and they deserved those 3 points.
Not too high though. I mean, we're still in that position in the league and we want to try and catch Sheffield Wednesday. That's the immediate target. So yeah, great feeling, good to get the clean sheet as well, like I said, but just now looking forward to Wednesday, so it's a quick turnaround because the schedule's so intense, so looking to them. Yeah,
and Preston really pushed that equaliser in the second half, but you guys stood firm. What does that say sort of about the work ethic and belief in your side?
Yeah, it's great, like I said, it's about the culture, and they did test us at a lot of points in the second half, but I thought we stood firm, and when they were chucking the ball in the box, I was really confident that we were going to see it out, and fortunately we did.
And so looking forward to Barnsley on Wednesday, aside you've got some good results recently.
Yeah.
What will be the message sort of going into that game?
I think we got to play with the same intensity that we've played in today, and even I would say the game against QPR, we have to play with that level of intensity and just take the confidence from the win today into that. Momentum is a really powerful thing, and we'll be looking to gather that now going into the running.
Yeah, it was great, and obviously then coming into yesterday night's game we were optimistic. Obviously it didn't end how we wanted it to end, but yeah, that Preston game, I think it just shows what Wycombe can do, really. And I think I said this last time I was on, but some of the results we've been getting, it doesn't really reflect how well we've played. And Gareth says this quite a lot, but yeah, there's some real, whatever league we end up in next season, there's loads of positives. And yeah, the Preston game last Saturday was definitely a good showing and an enjoyable one to be at because we won.
And it really feels like as well, so many attacking players are putting in good performances, the likes of Ichi, Admiral, Anis and Daryl Horgan as well.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I don't envy Gareth having to make those decisions, and any of those players could start every week. Obviously, yeah, Uche is fantastic. He came back from injury at a similar time to when I came in. And I just remember seeing him and thinking, oh my goodness, what a machine. He is so strong. He wins the ball in the air. Pretty much every single ball he's up for, flicking it on. Daryl, yeah, I can't remember which game it was, but he just had his defender absolutely on toast, was just outrunning him. And obviously, Gareth McCleary, yesterday he just looked so fast down the right hand side. And yeah, it's just, I'm surprised we haven't scored more goals this season. And yeah, I think going into the next few games, it'll be interesting to see if we can increase our goal tally, because Uche, Anis, they all look like on scoring form, especially Anis. He's had some really good games. Stoke, he was incredible and a really standout player. So I think he deserves to get on the score sheet. So it'll be interesting to see if he can in the next few games. But yeah, attacking players, too many to choose from, really.
And as you say, you spoke to Jason McCarthy after the game, and it really came across in your chat with him how the character of the team is still strong and the attitude still really positive.
Yeah, and I think I spoke to Gareth before, must have been the Preston game, and he was saying how sort of up for it the boys are. There's no like, oh yeah, we're at the bottom of the league, we're just going to step off it now. They're still really up for it. They're going to go out there and give a good account of themselves. I think the group at Wycombe, I don't think I've ever seen a team so sort of together and they pick each other up. Like, it is hard. I can't even imagine it, to go out every week and to have people sort of saying, oh, it's just little Wycombe at the bottom of the league. And there's that sort of, like arrogance, I think, from some teams and like obviously opposition fans who, if we beat someone, it's like a big thing. Like they'll sort of start slagging off their manager and their players and things because Wycombe beat them. But that's not, I don't see it that way at all, because we've got a great team and they go out every single week and fight. And like, the Preston game, the Reading game, when we went down to 10 men and we were 1-0 up, it was quite a nervy last 20 minutes, but they just don't stop. And I think it just shows what Wycombe's like they'll fight. And I think, we'll see it for the rest of the season and beyond.
And something which really stood out in the manager's post-Preston comments as well, he said to reporters that, we've been in much worse situations than this, and every team below us would want to be in our position. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, Wycombe's definitely had its ups and downs as a club. And like even this season, obviously, there was that Brentford game I went to 2-2 at half-time and then ended 7-2. Like that's a big thing to sort of pick yourself up from. And I think there have been teams in worse positions than us, and I think, it's credit to the team and to Gareth that he's sort of created this positive environment where, and like some people are negative about it and will say that Gareth is being too positive potentially, but that's just what it's like. I think like Wycombe's never going to be a sort of negative club, especially under Gareth, and I think that's sort of what makes it special.
It really makes it positive, though, doesn't it, for the, as you say, the final games of the season and what's to play for, really?
Yeah, there's everything to play for, and I think whatever happens, who we've got in the squad, they're going to want to show what they can do. And like who we've got signed on for next season is a really, really good side. And there'll be a lot of people looking at that Wycombe side and thinking, blimey, there's a good group of players there. So I think we're going to go out and I say we, obviously the team. I'll just be sort of sat there watching.
You might get called upon.
And show what we can do. Obviously, we've got some big games like Coventry on Saturday. Obviously we haven't got a great record against them, but this could be the one. You never know. I was saying to some of the other guys in the office, like this, I've got a good feeling, so fingers crossed. Some winnable games, obviously some tough ones like Luton and Middlesbrough, but I think there's everything to play for and nothing to lose really. So I think the next few games are going to be, we're going to show what is special about Wycombe, really.
This positivity stuff's definitely catching, isn't it? We'll hear more from Alicia later on in the show, talking about Wycombe Wanderers ladies and the rest of their season. And we'll talk about it more before the end of the programme as well. But it was interesting, she said she's got a good feeling against Coventry. Have you got a good feeling against Coventry?
No, because I've seen too many Wycombe against Coventry games. And Coventry's one of those grounds I've been to so many times. I appreciate they're not at the Rico at the minute, and I know that they are going back there, and that's a really good bit of news. But no, I never have a good feeling when we play Coventry because I've seen this too many times. The heartbreak of the EFL Papa John's leasing, whatever it was called when we were playing in it, trophy where we went up there and had a semi-final and lost.
You don't want to be sent to Coventry.
No, well, exactly. And various other trips up there as well. One just before Christmas as well, I remember, which I think was on a Friday night when it was really cold and we lost.
Trying to think about it.
Yeah, no, exactly. I really hope the fact that actually it's at St Andrews, which is a ground that we've already won at, I hope that's going to be the lucky charm.
That could be our omen. Still to come, we'll hear from manager Gareth Ainsworth as well, talking post-Barnsley and pre-Coventry. We'll hear from legendary goalkeeper Dennis Syrett next, here at Wycombe Sound.
This is Wycombe Sound.
Still to come on this week's Wycombe Wanderers show, we'll be hearing from Daryl Horgan, who this week has not only had some good news in terms of an international call-up, but has also revealed his shirt number and the reasons behind it. They're quite basic reasons, but reasons nevertheless. But first, on this show, we're very grateful to JDT and Alan Hutchison at the Ex-Players Association for the provision, if that's the right word, of some fantastic former players of all different sorts of generations. And brilliant to catch up with Dennis Syrett this week, who played in goal. you may know this already, in the 1957 Amateur Cup final, spent around 10 seasons at the club, and has some fantastic tales to tell, not only about his football, but also about his art, which is something which he discovered after his time at the club as well.
I was born in Beaconsfield, so I'm very local. And, of course, Wycombe Wanderers are always, as a child, is my club. And, I used to sort of always feel that that was the place to go. And, I didn't dream I was ever going to end up playing there. And I used to play in the field behind my house with McCarthy, who was centre forward at Wycombe, a Polish guy. This is soon after the war, really, isn't it? We're talking about the late 40s. Anyway, cut a long story short, as 16-year-old and 17-year-old, I was on Charlton Athletics books as an amateur. Then I went to Maidenhead and played there, and then from there I switched over. I thought I'd have a go at playing for Wycombe in 1952, and that's where it all started.
And I bet you could never imagine you'd have been there for so long either.
No, it's quite remarkable, really. I mean, it's obviously there's some wonderful highlights. In those days we used to play with a leather football, with leather lace on the on it, and of course in goal you could very often go punching the thing and you get your knuckles taken off with the strap and the laces. So I always felt sorry for the guys heading the ball out on the pitch. It was terrible, particularly when you get a heavy rainy day, and it's like kicking a lump of lead, really. I was trying to think of a better description. So anyway, that was my sort of start in with the Wanderers, and then of course we rolled on and went to Highbury in 1957, and the semi-final, that was the semi-final at Highbury against Corinthian Casuals, and I don't know whether Len spoke to you about that, but it was a most remarkable game, really. It's, it was one of the most amazing games, because I was playing there, and Jackie Label, the Casuals centre forward, took me into the net, right into the roof of the net, and I hit the ground and dislocated my shoulder, and that was in the first few minutes, so that wasn't a very good start to the game. The pitch was rolled down like a tarmac road. It was so hard. If you went down, you really got injured on it. And Frank Smith, the left winger, later on, I had to play on, of course, because we didn't have substitute in those days. And then Frank Smith went down, dislocated his shoulder, and he had to go off. And Frank Wesley, captain and fullback, he injured his knee, so we were a right load of crocs, and we ended up with 9 fit men, and we ended up by winning 4-2 and going to Wembley, which is absolutely remarkable.
And what are your memories of the final itself?
The final is, we really, I suppose we spent all our energy in the semi-final. Of course, we never really got into it, and of course Bishop Auckland was so good and used to playing there. They've been in several finals, so we were sort of struggling a bit, but it was very exciting. 90-odd thousand packed house, wonderful. Coming up the tunnel was incredible. You come out through the opening and onto the pitch, and the roar was something to behold. It was amazing, but wonderful memories. Anyway, from there, in 1958, I had a wonderful experience because I was selected to go with the England FA team to Nigeria and Ghana in celebrating the independence of Nigeria. We were out there for a month, and there were 7 professionals with us and nine amateurs. We played 2 internationals, Nigeria and Ghana, and we beat Nigeria 6-1 and Ghana 7-0. But that was an absolutely wonderful trip. We played various district games, and I was fortunate enough to have a game out there, and that was something else, because I played in Kano against northern Nigeria, and we came out in the second half. We were 1-1 at the time. Suddenly we had a tropical storm, and the rain came down. It was amazing. It was hitting the ground, and from the goal you couldn't see anybody below the waist. The rain was so intense, and they had to abandon the match. So we ended up 1-1, but it was a wonderful experience. From then on, it was the following year, I was reserved for England, went with the England team to play France in Bayonne, near Biarritz. And, that was a wonderful thing, wonderful thing to do. And it was a very interesting story there, because we flew out of Blackbush Airport, and when we arrived and got out of the coach, my brother was a rugby player. He was an England international. And across the tarmac, there was Ron with the rugby crowd, and Middlesex were going out to Toulouse. So we met up and shook hands, and, it was rather a marvellous moment. Anyway, that game, we lost 1-0 to France, which is a shame, but it was a wonderful experience.
It does sound like a fantastic opportunity, as you say, to represent your country and to play at Wembley for Wycombe as well. What would you say sort of kept you at the club for such a long period?
The group of lads were absolutely brilliant. We had a wonderful camaraderie. The chaps, we really got on very, very well. And, it was a wonderful social side to it. And, of course, our Sig Cam was a brilliant coach. And, the club was, lovely to play for. Great memories.
And you used to have such huge crowds as well, even in the Amateur Cup as well. Against Ilford, you had 15,500 at Lokes Park. Yeah,
that's right. And, the reserve team used to get about 6,000 or 8,000, it was amazing. Yeah, the crowds, of course, that gave you a lift. I feel sorry for the teams now when they haven't got the crowds there, because it does make an awful lot of difference when you're playing. But, it's sad, isn't it? We're going through a bad time at the moment.
Of course. And you mentioned as well with in your particular position about how, the ball has changed, but being a goalkeeper has changed a lot over the years as well.
Well, yeah, that's right. Suddenly you got lighter boots, and, the ball was easier to handle. And I could never make out in latter days, or, after I'd finished, all the goalkeepers seem to wear gloves these days, even on a dry ball. And one thing that I used to look forward to was a nice dry day, so I had a dry ball. I didn't like gloves very much, but, there we are. I like to feel the ball. But, I don't know how it is that they can cope with all these gloves on dry balls these days, but must be something about it, mustn't there?
No, absolutely. And what happened to you after your time at Wycombe?
Well, I went off to Oxford and had a couple of seasons for Oxford City. Just I felt I needed a change, and then I came back. When Don Welsh had taken over, and had a couple more seasons, and but it wasn't the same. My mates used to play with. They weren't there. Well, Len was there, of course, but it wasn't the same. Not the same atmosphere. So I thought, well, there we go. It's time to hang up my boots, and I was, I suppose, about 32 then. Oh, yeah, that's a long time ago.
It must have been such a great feeling as well to have played for your local club.
Yeah, well, that's right. You know, I mean, we're very local, and you know, it's very, very, very exciting. Yeah, and very proud to have been a member of the group, the team. It was fantastic. Actually, you know, you were talking about the art thing. Well, when I packed up football, you know, I sort of started looking around for something else to occupy me, and, you know, apart from work, obviously. You know, I thought, well, the other thing I could do was you know, I was quite good at drawing and hadn't really painted, so I joined the local art group. And from there I took off. You know, I sort of within a year or two, I was, you know, getting on very well with painting, and I was hanging in the Royal Academy. And, you know, so I thought, well, there's a future in this, because I was in the family butcher's business that time, you know, in Knapp Hill. So, anyway, I decided when Mum and Dad wanted to retire from the butchers that art was my forte, you know. I didn't want to sort of take over the butcher's shop. So I bought the art shop in High Wycombe as a backup, you know. So from there, I just went on and became a full-time professional, and kept the shop going. My sons looked after it for me, and travelled the world, exhibited in London, and you know, I'm still an artist and still having a wonderful time.
And you've received great awards and recognition for your art. Has it sort of surprised you in a way as to how that took off?
Yeah, I suppose so. You know, I was pretty ambitious because it was an escape route from being a butcher, I guess. You know, it was, I worked hard at it. I had a lot of rewards from it, I must say. It was, you know, I'm a member of the Royal Society of British Artists, the Royal Society of Marine Artists, and I became president of the Royal Oil Institute in London. So, yeah, it was a wonderful time.
You must be so proud of what you've achieved, you know, sort of on the canvas as well as on the football pitch, if you like.
Yeah, I suppose so. You know, I've, you know, really, I've had a wonderful life doing things that I really wanted to do. You know, it's marvellous to have achieved something, you know, things that you like doing, I suppose.
And you mentioned the travelling as well. That's a really nice thing to have been able to do too.
You know, having travelled with the football on tours, etc., you know, that was something I really enjoyed doing. And, you know, and then the galleries in London, you know, were sending me out all over the place, you know, to get exhibitions together in London. And, you know, I've been everywhere, New York, you know, Middle East, and Hong Kong, India, you name it, and putting on exhibitions in London. So it's very, very rewarding.
And it must be such a relaxing almost way of filling your time as well, especially in the last 12 months.
Well, yes, that's right, yeah. You know, obviously it's been a bit difficult with the lockdown because my studio isn't actually at home, so I've not been able to do as much as I would like to do, but there we are. It'll all come back.
No, absolutely. I think there is a real sense, isn't there, of recovery, if you like, and it won't be too long now till things can start getting back.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So, you know, I just have to liven up my brushes and get back down there. I was having to tell you a little memory of playing, actually. It was a county match, actually. I think it was at Oxford at the time, but we played in this game, which was absolutely terrible blizzard blowing, snow, you know, almost horizontal, and it was really cold. And I remember the sticking in my memory now, the centre forward of the opposing team, you know, a ball came across and he caught it on the volley beautifully. And I didn't have time to get my hands up or anything, and it hit me in the ear and went over the bar for a corner. And, so it's one of the best saves I've ever made. And anyway, I haven't got dementia, but I have got a cauliflower ear.
It's nice in a way to have that sort of souvenir.
Yeah. Yeah, it brings back memories when I look at it.
It must be great for you to see the team in the Championship now, admittedly struggling slightly, but fantastic to have made that progress.
Yes, well, yes, that's right. Yes, absolutely phenomenal. Yes, that keep our fingers crossed and hope they keep up there in the league.
And you must realise and notice that it's been such a, speaking to other former players as well, such a family-orientated club, and there's something so special about it that, especially with the Ex-Players Association, keeping different generations in touch.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's a wonderful thing. Go down there and still meet your old mates. There aren't many of our mates left now, actually. Not the Wembley team. I think there's only 3 of us about. There we go. That's what happens, isn't it?
No, absolutely. But as you say, it's so nice to have those memories to kind of look back on and reflect on what you achieved and the stories, as you say.
Yes, yeah. It's been something else. I've been very lucky with my sporting and art career.
Well, a privilege to speak to Dennis and hear about his stories and how football's changed, but also that he found art as well.
Yeah, absolutely lovely. Really, really interesting interview. Sounds absolutely a lovely man. I was very impressed with your positivity there at the end as well, saying about how Wycombe Wanderers in the Championship this season. It's not going, slightly to plan, I think.
Downplaying it a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that was very good.
There's a lovely bit as well, which didn't quite make it wasn't actually in the recording, but he actually said, he said this has mostly been all about me. And I just thought, well, yes, exactly. That's the whole point.
That will be in the limited edition, extended version.
Yeah, you can have that.
Yeah. Dennis Syrett, the extended mix.
No, it's fantastic to speak to him, and I've been so lucky with the former players that we have spoken to. Of course,
we've done really, really well, and thank you very much to the Ex-Players Association, because they have been very kind to us. And I know you've got some exciting names in the pipeline.
Yes, well, next week, as you may not be aware, it's an international break, so we've got something a bit special planned. We'll be speaking to long-term physio at the club, Dave Jones. David Jones will be joining us next week. That's good. Get some injury news. not on current players, obviously, but fantastic to hear the role that he's played. Also, before the end of the season, in the coming weeks, very much looking forward to speaking to the previous manager before the current one.
Oh, that'll be very good. And be interesting to hear his thoughts on the current manager and what was he like in the dressing room as a player.
Yes, absolutely, hugely positive, I imagine.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
Gary Waddock, who also guided the club to promotion as well, and current assistant manager at Cambridge. He'll be catching up with him before the end of the season, and a few more in the pipeline as well, including some very exciting names who are very much looking forward to speaking to, but perhaps might not divulge those in case it doesn't come off. But no, it should be there's some fantastic weeks to come in the coming weeks. That's
it sounds very exciting. You do wonder when the players were coming back in, sort of like after they played. Was Gareth sitting there saying, "Proud of you lads," and Gary Waddock had to say, "No, look, I'm the manager."
We'll
save that for when you're the manager.
We'll definitely ask him on the Wycombe Wanderers show here at Wycombe Sound.
This is Wycombe Sound.
Final part of the Wycombe Wanderers show. Coming up in a few moments' time, we'll hear more from Alicia Povey telling us about what's left of Wycombe Wanderers ladies season, which doesn't sound like very much.
That was possibly a clip of Alex Neil going back on the coach, and then I realised that actually it's Zippy from Rainbow.
That sounds like it should be a documentary by itself. A coach trip with Alex Neil. Join us next week
for a series on Channel 4.
Join us next week for a happier coach trip with Alex Neil, and then it just turns out to be the same again.
Yeah, they lose and he gets sent off and he gets a bit cross.
Yeah,
and he gets joined by.
He does look like you don't want to cross him, does he?
Oh, no, completely. Yeah, particularly when they lose,
which seems to be happening quite a bit.
It does. Yes, that's true. Yes, I mean, how are they still 14th or wherever they are? Why aren't they down with us somewhere?
Yes, I had some good news today with regard to Darryl Horgan, who we're a big fan of anyway.
Yes, indeed. So he has been called up to the Republic of Ireland squad for their forthcoming World Cup qualifiers against Serbia. Going to be quite tough. And Luxembourg probably should win that. And then they are also playing a friendly as well against that well-known footballing nation, Qatar, which is being played in Hungary on the 30th of March.
And he was also the player who was quizzed by the virtual mascots ahead of last night's game. And Harry, who's 10, had a very interesting question to ask him.
Why did you choose your shirt number? I suppose I came in a bit late, so most of them were taken. I was number 7 at the last couple of clubs, so I said I'd stick with a 7 on it, and 17 was the closest one. What number would you like to wear?
Probably number 10.
Number 10, yeah. I'd be number 10 as well, I think, if I got the choice.
I think if Matt Bloomfield's had that shirt for so long here, I think nobody's ever going to get it off him. That number 10 shirt will be Bloomfield still... he's 70. He'll still be playing, probably.
He'll definitely still be playing. He'll still be fit enough, anyway.
Still fit enough, says Darryl Horgan. At the age of 70, Matt Bloomfield will still be there.
Yeah, we'll be interviewing him in several years to come on the Wycombe Wanderers show, and it'll be like 70-year-old Matt Bloomfield. And he's still playing as well.
Still wearing the number 10 shirt.
Interesting that as well that they get to pick their squad numbers, because you always wonder how that actually works.
Yes.
Do they just get given the squad numbers? Do they get given a choice?
Well, so I understand that.
I
think for goalkeeper, for example, if you're first choice, you're usually number 1, aren't you? And then the other sort of initial first team, if you like, positions, so, 2, 3, 4, usually at the back, and the midfield usually, and then you get 9, 10, 11. And then I think after that, it's more choosy.
It's anyone's.
It's like a lottery, literally.
I was impressed with the virtual mascot saying that he wanted to be number 10, because I sort of fear that the way football's going, that actually, people are going to start saying, "Oh, I want to be number 99."
Exactly.
Which just always seems a bit silly.
Or 66, just with the same numbers up there.
Well, exactly. Sorry, but that does look silly.
Yes.
Albeit it's got the World Cup connotations. So okay, fair enough. But even so, it still looks silly if you're running around and you've got 66 on your back.
And apart from anything else, whilst playing football, you don't want to look silly.
No, that's very true.
If at all avoidable. Yes. So just backtracking slightly and going back to the Barnsley game of last night, Gareth was speaking to Phil Catchpole afterwards.
A real blood and thunder game in the Championship, that one. Barnsley 3-1 winners, but what a game.
What a game. I honestly wish the fans had been to see that one, because no matter what, you couldn't say either team were given less than absolutely everything. I think there was at the end of the game, all the lads sort of embraced each other in a mark of respect. They really did. Because everyone was grabbing each other by their throats, and some tackles coming in, and some real heightened emotions with what went on during the game. And I love that. I really do. It was almost like your rugby game where they've got that respect for each other. And at the end of the game, full-blooded, blood, sweat and tears, more than that, and I think we could have done with better. I thought the officials were quite poor tonight, but I'm going to say that because we got a penalty against us, and I thought they missed quite a few things. But Ishmael will probably say the same thing, and I've already heard he's been saying our bench was claiming for a lot. I think their bench was as well, so don't start chucking that around in glass houses. But really proud of the boys. I thought it was a cracking game. Unfortunately on the defeat, but we'll go against Saturday.
You've mentioned the penalty. I mean, the timing of it. It was such a competitive first half, and then in first half stoppage time to go and 1-0 down. You looked very angry as you went down the tunnel with the ref.
Yeah, I've got to look at the rules, because I think touching someone's finger might now be a penalty, and that's a rule I've missed. So I'll re-look at the rules and see if touching someone's finger is a penalty. It might be. I know the ball touching someone's finger is, but I'm not sure how much contact, if any, there was. But puts us 1-0 down at half-time, which is a real blow to the boys, because they gave everything against the form team in the league. These lot are in the playoffs, and rightly so. They're a good side. Ishmael's got them playing really well. They play a fantastic high line and a combative type of football. People have said to me that, wow, over the years we've gone direct. Oh my God, that was back at us today, wasn't it? And they've got Daryl Dykes up front, who is a focal point for them. He's your American Akinfenwa, if you will, but in the heyday, because he was sticking and twisting and scoring goals. He had a good game, and I was very impressed by him. But the spirit was in all 22 players was good tonight.
You feel let down by the penalty, but the second goal was equally at a crucial time at the start of the second half. That must have been a real blow.
Yeah, but even then, Phil, we get the one back and we're still in the game. It's the third goal that I'm really disappointed with. Some details. There's a long throw. We ran out too quickly. We were overloaded at the back stick for the second goal, and then the third goal we get done too easy on a one-on-one and a cross, and that happens. And that's the moments that I keep talking about. In League One, you get away with it. In League Two, you definitely get away with it. In the Championship, wow, you get punished, and we were punished for that tonight. But couldn't be prouder. Like I say, wake up every morning feeling fantastic, because I'm so lucky to be the manager and enjoy what I do every day.
we'll go against Saturday. The lads will need a rest. I'm sure there'll be a few knocks as well. So, but I got a good deep squad now. We're doing really well, and looking forward to Saturday against Coventry now.
Barnsley pulled off what was called a fantastic great escape last season in the final minute of the final day. They're now in the playoff positions. You must take inspiration from a team that you've played in League One as well.
Inspiration, I texted Chris Wilder in the week, told him what an inspiration he is for me, and Sean Dyche and people like that, you know. So yes, Barnsley again, Ishmael is an inspiration, because he's proved that not one of the top budgets in the league by any stretch of imagination. I've got to give him credit. I know exactly how that feels, because we're right down there. But to have his players performing the way they are, he's found a way to win games, and he's rightly in the playoffs. I wish them all the best. I really do. It's a good club, fantastic football club. Was in the Premier League once, and hopefully they, you know, I love the smaller clubs doing well. You know that, and hopefully they can go on to big things. But we've got to focus now on Coventry Saturday, and can't wait for that.
Coventry, a team that Wycombe, I don't think have ever beaten in the league, Gareth, so you could say that one's overdue.
My night was bad enough, Phil. Cheers for that. Would you? We've never played them in the Championship. Yeah, that's what I'll. Well, we have actually this season. We've never played them away in the Championship at St Andrews. There's loads of things that can go different there for us this season. So no, I'm looking forward to that one, and I'm sure Mark Robbins will have some kind words. He's a great guy, and again, the teams that came up last year to survive in the Championship, I think, is phenomenal. Nigel Clough did it, both Luton and Barnsley did it last year. I still believe we can do it, and any of the three of us that do it, Warren and Robbins, I think they deserve to be manager here, never mind anyone else, because it's so tough, this league. It really is. The gulf is huge, but I want to put a dent in Coventry's hopes on Saturday, and we'll begin everything again.
If Wycombe are to achieve the Great Escape, then it will involve dragging Coventry into the fight. If you lose on Saturday, is that the dream over?
Absolutely not, because there will still be a hell of an amount of points to play for, and you never know. You just never know. Really pleased. Uchi's got another goal. You know, he's opening eyes. I think Anis learnt a lot tonight. You know, it wasn't a game where he get the ball down and play, and he's got a lot of space. It was a real brutal game. So again, he's learned from that. Fantastic. You know, real good lessons for these players. Proud, really proud, Phil, and always will be. You know, they'll never get me down. You know that. So let's go again Saturday. Woo!
And you have one at St Andrews already this season.
Yeah, we have. You know, Dobbo took that one. I was in the hospital, so it's a place where we've gone and we've had success. Hopefully, the lads will be reminded of that Saturday, and we can get another win. But let's see how things go, and I'll pick up the boys in the next couple of days without a doubt.
Let's go again Saturday. Woo.
Yeah, congratulations if you had Gareth whooping in one of the interviews on your Gareth bingo card.
That's new, isn't it? We've not had that.
Absolutely, and particularly whooping after a loss as well.
Exactly, yeah. The odds must be very against that.
Definitely. I think that's what Cauley Woodrow was doing after he scored. I'm not quite sure. Whooping or something along those lines.
Perhaps we'll discuss Mr. Woodrow next week.
Yeah, maybe we will, yes. Or maybe we'll just skirt around that issue.
So commentary from your earlier comments, we're not holding up much hope, are we?
Well, you just can't tell. They are definitely sort of being dragged into the relegation battle. They're currently 6 points clear of Rotherham. But of course, Rotherham are such now a sort of slight red herring in the relegation zone, in that they've still only played 33 games, whereas everybody else around them has either played 36 or 37. But yeah, Coventry won 9, drawn 11, lost 16. Have always looked like they might just sort of be pulling away from the relegation zone to only then be dragged back into it. So very, very difficult to say. But as we sort of said last week, you do think, well, these three fixtures that we've played, I think, are the crucial ones, obviously, because we are now approaching the final battle run-in, whatever you want to call it. If we can go into that, having got, 6 points out of 9, let's not count last night, because Barnsley are clearly, a very good side who look destined for the playoffs. But if we can go into it having beaten Coventry, and beaten Preston North End, well, I do think it's game on.
And the Easter weekend could be quite telling as well. We've got 2 games very close together there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely going to certainly again decide very much as to whether or not we are in the Championship next season. One of the good things I think is that actually the schedule is a bit kinder now after the international break. So we've only got one more evening game, which is against Bristol City later on in April. But as you say, we do play on Good Friday and Easter Monday. But again, that's a sensible way and better way round of doing it, I think, than the old days where you used to maybe play on Easter Saturday and then again on Easter Monday.
Yes, definitely. Fingers crossed for a happy Easter.
Indeed.
In every sense. A little earlier on, we heard from Alicia Povey, who is one of the Wycombe Wanderers ladies players, as well as helping out with the media team. And you might have heard that the FA have released a statement this week.
Yeah, obviously, I've really been missing it. It's been, I think we stopped playing in the middle of December, so yeah, it's been a long time, and I really miss it. But yeah, so the FA released a statement on Monday with regards to the women's football pyramid, and it was what I was expecting, which is that the leagues have been voided again. So yeah, we won't be playing any more league fixtures, which is a shame, but I think it's probably the right decision. Although, I mean, there's obviously always controversy, so there's going to be people with different opinions, but yeah, so we'll just be in the same league again next season. But it gives us time to rebuild over summer, and hopefully we'll play some friendlies and things. And it'll be interesting because although there's no promotion and relegation based on results, there is the opportunity for teams to apply based on sort of like application and set criterias. So there might be some movement between leagues, which would be interesting, because obviously, like in our league, we've got teams like Bournemouth and Moneyfields, who are very good sides and have a lot of backing from the clubs. So it'll be interesting to see if they apply to move up to the Women's National League, just based on kind of the setup behind the scenes. But yeah, a bit of a tough year, I think. Tough 2 years really for women's football. I think even next season, when hopefully we get back playing properly, it's going to be a bit of a funny one, because there's going to be teams who potentially would have been relegated last season, for example, who are still in the league and will go out and lose by quite large margins, which isn't going to be the greatest advertisement for women's football. But I'll just be happy to get back playing, I think. It's been too long.
It'd be great if you can get some games in between now and what will be pre-season.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, there's some really good sides around Bucks that we could potentially play. Obviously, we've got our neighbours Maidenhead, who play in the Women's National League, and Cheshire Women, who are just up the road, who also play in the National League. So some really good sides that we could test ourselves against. And obviously, that's the level that we want to get to, is hopefully to be promoted next season based on merit rather than by application. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, I honestly don't even care who the opposition is. I just want to get out on the field. I honestly don't know if I even remember how to kick a football, but we will give it a go. And hopefully 3 months is probably the longest I've gone without playing football ever, since I was about 8 years old.
You must be really looking forward to getting back with your teammates again, just sort of training.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, like I think I said last time I was on, we've got a sort of team WhatsApp, and we hop on Zoom every now and then and have some quizzes and I have a chat. It's not the same. And yeah, the sort of social side of football is obviously really important. And especially like this Wycombe team, we are really close. I don't think I've ever been in a team where I've been so close to the other girls. And I think, similar to, I mean, obviously Wycombe men's have that similar sort of positive, supportive team mentality. And yeah, Wycombe women have it as well. So yeah, I really miss it. And I think that first training session will be absolutely amazing, really. Really
nice to think that the ladies will get some friendly games in, so that they're just playing, if nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, it must be so frustrating that, the season sort of starting. The fact that they had all those FA Cup games as well, which again was really, really good, but, meant that actually they didn't get many league games in, and now it's been cancelled.
Yes.
Yeah, must be a bit frustrating.
I guess as well, there must be a kind of balance as well, though, where you think, well, that was to be expected, I suppose, in a way, and it's, I don't like to take it's for a good cause, but you know what I mean.
Yes, yeah, you can understand why, I suppose, is that's what we could say about it.
So we're still 12 points from safety at this point, which is
we are, yes.
It's not the end of the world, I suppose.
No, it's, we've still got enough games left.
Although you did start the show by using the word apocalypse.
Yes, we won't end it by using the word apocalypse. We'll end it by saying thank you very much. We'll end it by saying Alderman rather than apocalypse, and thanking David Alderman, who emailed in with some very nice comments, which is very kind of him, and saying, or wondering if you intend to continue with the show. Should we go back down to League One? I do hope so.
Absolutely.
Colin's still in negotiations about his contract, apparently.
Yes. Well, no, definitely. I think it would be great to do another series, another run next week. Join us next week, where we'll be having our international break special, if that's a thing.